Andy in Wilmington, Delaware. Hey, Andy, what's up?
Yes, hi, Tom. As you well know, there are millions of Americans that believe in this trickle-down theory that if you keep rich people happy, the rest of us will benefit. And what I wanted to ask you is it's hard to know why people do what they do, but what do you think the appeal is of that kind of logic? That if we're taking billions and billions out of our economy, is what's happening. But how do you think that appealed to people, that trickle-down theory, that if you keep my boss happy, I'll have a job?
Right. I was around in the 80s when Reagan was selling this stuff. In fact, I remember the 1980 primary when Ronald Reagan was running against George Herbert Walker Bush. And George Herbert Walker Bush said, "This is voodoo economics. This is the silliest thing I ever heard." And Ronald Reagan said essentially, no, if you give everybody a tax cut, that's going to increase prosperity. And if we give tax cuts to the job creators, they will take that extra money that they get from the tax cuts and build new factories and create new jobs. And I think for a low information voter and for somebody who has never started or run a business and never been in an executive position in a business, that doesn't sound like an unreasonable sales pitch. They don't realize that businesses don't hire people or do hire people. The businesses make hiring decisions based on demand, on what they need in order to sell their product, rather than based on revenue. If a company has a bunch of extra revenue, if they get a tax cut and they have an extra $10 million this year, they're not going to build an extra factory for it unless they got a red hot product. Apple might be building a new factory right now for iPhones, but the average company, and they're not doing it because they got a tax break. They're doing it because they rolled out a good product, or at least so far.
If you ask me, what I've found out here in the street is that what the reason that appeals to people is the opposite of that is what scares them. If I don't keep my boss happy, I'll lose my job.
Right.
If I don't lower taxes, reduce regulation, I'm screwed.
Right.
That's what I think sold a lot of folks.
And that's, there's a good motivation strategy has this is kind of NLP 101. A good motivation strategy has two parts: moving toward pleasure and moving away from pain. In other words, it offers a promise, and a carrot and a stick. And the carrot and stick being offered here, and they do it very effectively. I mean, these guys come on my program all the time and pitch it. The carrot is, if we give the job creators tax breaks, they will create more jobs. The stick is, if we maintain high levels of regulation and taxation, these people are going to take their factories and move offshore. And in fact, they're doing that right now. But the simple fact of the matter is they're not doing it because of taxes and regulation. They're doing it because of labor costs and because the tax code encourages them to right now. And these are very specific changes in the tax code that have been made since the mid-'80s that encourage offshoring of jobs. And
taxes and regulations don't have anything to do with whether somebody gets hired for a job. It has to do with markets. If there is a market for a product, the boss will hire more people.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. It's called demand. A market and the word market and the word demand are pretty much interchangeable. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. Andy, thank you for the call.